guys, I am popping on because I wanted to do an intro for you guys. I know I'm not great at that, so I'm gonna try. In this video, we are talking about a bunch of pattern tests that I have done recently. So we're gonna talk about Felicity Frog, a giant purple dragon that I've done, a no-sew hippo pattern, a cute mouse pattern, some pretty bees, and a flippable dino. Now, I know that all of those patterns are released currently, except for the flippable dino, but I can tell you who the designer is and give you more information on that. So stick with me. There's going to be a lot of crochet and hyperlapse, but I'm going to be doing voiceovers and giving you information and popping in and out, and I hope you enjoy it. Thanks. Bye!
Oh no. When did this happen? Crap. I grabbed the wrong hook a long time ago. I'm just gonna fix it now. I'm not ripping anything out.
Okay, I am popping back in to talk a little bit about Felicity Frog pattern. So Felicity Frog is a pattern by Fifi Crochet. On Instagram, it is at FEE Crochet. So CROCHET. If you go onto her Instagram account, her link tree is connected. Her link tree will take you wherever you need to go to find her, but in this case, Etsy. That's where she sells her patterns. So this is what you will see on her listing. The pattern is listed for $4.65 in her shop. It's called Felicity Frog Crochet Pattern, Frog Crochet Pattern, Low Sew Frog, Low Sew Crochet Pattern. She is a 5-star seller on Etsy. she's a star seller. I can say that she was a great designer to work with. All of the testers that were in the chat, it was a great conversation. It wasn't overwhelming, but it was just enough conversation to kind of get to know each other a little bit. Everybody had great ideas. I can say that with mine, both times that I made her, I didn't do the skirt quite as intended. So my skirt comes out a little bit more tutu-like instead of more like a dress skirt laying flat. So read carefully on the skirt instructions, because I did not. That's a me thing. So sorry. We're going to read the description. Felicity the Frog crochet pattern. This listing is for a PDF crochet pattern, not a finished item. This adorable little frog would make a lovely gift and is quick and easy to make. Perfect for markets. I agree. When I made her with burlap blanket, she turns out yay big-ish. She's a good like 15 inches tall. So I try to sell her for $50. Now she is not sold as quickly. She's a bigger item. She's a higher priced item, so I get it. I will hang on to her for as long as I need to. Somebody will buy her. But I also made her with Premier Retro Velvet yarn. And with that, she turned out like 9 inches tall, and I sold her for $35 without hesitation. So, highly recommend. Where did I pick off? Alright, materials needed. A crochet hook. Size of your choice depending on the yarn you use, which is true. With the Premier Retro Velvet, I used a 5mm, and with the burlap velvet or burlap blanket, I used maybe a 7. I'm more adjusted to burlap blanket now, so I know in some cases I've used a 10mm where I could have used an 8, and more regularly now with new formula burlap, I'm using a 6mm. So I don't know at the moment. 1 ball of the main color, 1 ball of a contrasting color for the dress. You won't need the full ball. And a small amount of green and pink for her purse. It's a little lily pad purse. It's so cute. You will need polyfill. You'll need safety eyes. She used 14 and 16mm safety eyes. For Felicity, I think that I used 20mm, pretty sure. For the Retro Velvet one, I used 16s. You'll also need a yarn needle and scissors. She says all of her patterns have been tested by people to ensure that there are no mistakes, which I've tested it, so I can attest to this one. All of my patterns are written using US American crochet terms. Please share photos and refer back to the designer, Fifi Crochet, on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Once payment is cleared, Etsy will send you an email with a link to your download. Important, the email will be sent to the email address connected with your Etsy account. I'm actually really glad that she added that into her description, because Etsy, it's not as user-friendly as it should be, realistically. Especially for people selling digital downloads on the site, because from the app on your cell phone, you can't actually find your patterns through the app. So that's fun, but I'm glad that she did that, because I know I get a lot of questions from people about where their pattern went, because they bought it and they can't download it. Her shop has over 66 reviews on it, and she has 5 stars. So I'm seeing, look, there are 5 pages of reviews. She has a lot of other patterns in her shop. She has a book sleeve cover. She has coloring sheets. She has a butterfly, a bunny. Oh, a bunny with overalls and a bunny with a dress. And she has a clownfish pattern. I know that as time continues, she will come out with more designs. I know that she's got 1 or 2 in the works currently. So check her out on Instagram. I think that you won't regret using her pattern. Felicity Frog is adorable. And for reference, this is what her Etsy looks like. Awesome. There's your information for Felicity Frog. Keep watching, you'll see the next one.
Guys, I'm working on a pattern test right now for a dragon. And this is how big the head is. This thing is gonna be ginormous. It's the same size as my face. Seriously. I don't even know what to say. Keep watch though. Hi. Forgive my appearance. It is 3:30 in the morning. I'm pattern testing. And let me even see, because I can't remember who the designer is. It says, oh. On Etsy, it's Cat Lady Creations, JJMT. But on Instagram, it's Cat Lady Crafters. So I'm gonna have to figure that one out. Anyways, I'm pattern testing, and the pattern test is for this dragon, right? This dragon is enormous. So before, I showed you its head, right? Here's its head. Burlap blanket yarn. There's the little nostrils. I do have 2 of the horns done, which will probably go this general area. Guys, I just finished the legs and the body. Also, super interesting construction of the legs. I've never made something like this with the legs, and I've been doing amigurumi for 10 years. So to see the details on that, like, you'll have to get the pattern, but it's just very, very interesting, and it's not hard to do actually. But if you want to make a giant dragon, follow along. This is the body, guys. So you have the 4 legs, and she wants this like center patch on the belly. And it's actually a circle, but it ends up becoming this diamond when you crochet the legs together. And it's pretty seamless. I am using burlap blanket yarn in some purple. And my white is it's the burlap baby blanket sparkle. I'm using a 10mm hook. The pattern calls for a 9mm hook, but I don't have one. At least not in a hook that I like. So I'm using the 10. I could have used an 8, but I don't use burlap baby blanket that much, so my tension's weird with it. And it's hard to work with. I do not like making animals with burlap blanket yarn. So when I get done with this one, I'm going to make another one, I think, in burlap velvet yarn. And it'll make it half the size. Way easier to work with. Because something that I realize is that crocheting these giant stuffed animals, it's really hard to like maneuver it, you know, to hold it the right way to be able to crochet it. So my tension is just all over the place trying to crochet this top closed. It's a good thing that the color is purple that I use, because you can actually see gapping in the stitches with my stuffing, and that's a me problem. That's a me not working with this yarn problem. But if I make it again in burlap velvet yarn, it will fix that issue and it will look way better. And plus my kid, he's 3. He really likes the color pink, and he really wanted me to make a pink dragon and a pink cow, and he loved the pink octos. So I might make a pink one next, or maybe I'll do green, because he did also say green. But I have those colors in burlap velvet or Premier Retro Velvet, one or the other. I didn't have it in burlap blanket though. So either way, I just wanted to update you with the next step in this pattern testing, and don't judge me. Like I said, it's like 3:30 in the morning. Bye.
Okay, so here we are for the giant purple dinosaur, not dinosaur. Here we are for the giant purple dragon pattern details. On Etsy, it is Cat Lady Crafters. She is also a 5-star seller. She's from Canada. She has available a long dragon pattern, a bumblebee snuggler, a standing cow, like standing on all 4 feet, an elephant snuggler, crochet stars. They are warrior turtles. I'll show you a picture. Cute. She has minions. Okay, they're Ninja Turtles, they're minions. We know this. She has the same dragon that I did, but in a strawberry version. So she has little strawberry horns and a big pink bow, and she's adorable. She has a Triceratops, a bumblebee, flowers, a big axolotl, a Christmas tree, an Easter bunny, a penguin, a snowman, some chickens, a rabbit, a little mushroom dude, jack-o'-lanterns, unicorns, and says large crochet dragon. I am assuming the look is supposed to be Charizard. So we will go back, we will open up the listing for the dragon that I tested. So this is the listing, this is what you'll see. She sells the pattern for $3.81. It is the Crochet Dragon plushie, crochet pattern, crochet toy, crochet amigurumi, crochet amigurumi pattern. I'm so sorry, this time of night I get heartburn for some reason. It's annoying. If we look at pattern details, this is a digital download PDF. It's crochet pattern, crochet cute dragon. This is a PDF file, not a physical item. For this pattern, you'll need a 9mm hook and 2 skeins of Bernat baby blanket yarn of your main color and 1 skein of your contrasting color. I used a 10mm hook because I didn't have a 9mm hook. I could have sized down to an 8mm in this instance. The purple was the new formula Bernat blanket, so I could have used a thinner hook. The white sparkle, there is no new formula of it yet that I've seen. It's still pretty thick. The 10mm was fine for that. You do need 2 skeins of your main color. I had to drive over an hour away to go and get a second skein because I thought that I knew better. Everybody says you need 2, and then I end up only needing 1, and I was wrong. That's how it works. So I drove over an hour to get to another yarn store because the one closest to me did not have the purple that I needed. So I drove that way. Of course, they had the color that I needed, but of course I needed to buy more than just 1 skein of yarn since I was up there. And that was at Joann's. Then I also stopped at Michael's and Hobby Lobby. I had no business doing any of this. So we got the yarn. We had the colors, we finished it. It took about 24 solid hours of crocheting for me. I crochet very quickly. I've been crocheting for 20 years now. So 24 hours of crochet for me is usually around 48 hours of crochet for somebody else. And I don't mean like in a 24-hour period. I mean 24 hours from start to finish every time I picked up the hook and put it down. So it is a large project. It's going to take some time. I did only make it the one time. I know that I mentioned I would make it again. I do still need to try because I'm gonna have the large one forever. She's massive. You saw in the video, she is a massive pattern. She sits on my shoulder and is just huge. Her head is the same size as my head. So I'm trying to sell her for $100. What I didn't anticipate is that it's hard to sell a $100 dragon in the color purple. If I had at least chose a more neutral color, it might have sold faster. So that's on me. Anyways, I see that she has 2 reviews in her shop. That they're both 5-star reviews. And both of those reviews are since November of 2023. So I can say that working on this pattern, that for me, there are 12 pages of the pattern that I know I at least marked up. There could be a page or 2 more. So let's go back. I can tell you that I used 360 yards of yarn total. On her pattern, she has her email address listed. Her Instagram handle is CatLadyCrafters. And on Etsy, if you were to search for her shop, her URL would be Cat Lady Creations JJMT. At least is what's in the pattern. I do know that she's also on TikTok, but I don't remember what her TikTok handle is. So you may be able to find her through her Instagram. We made a lot of suggestions. It's really interesting construction where you make all 4 of the legs and then you crochet a circle and then you crochet together through the circle and the legs around, and then kind of skip to around the legs and then keep going up on the body. So I thought that was a very interesting technique for working it up that way. It's not something that I've personally done before, so I love uniqueness in a pattern, something that's different, and it's not that difficult to do either. So I really appreciated that. You know, she keeps count of her stitch mark, or not her stitch marks. Her patterns read like most everybody else's. She has stitch counts. You know, she labels, you know, if she has a multiple of rows, it's round 1 through 6, you know, something like that. She tells you what size hook you need, what color you're using, all that. She does have pictures in the pattern, a ton of them, and they are large, so they're easy to see. So you don't have to worry about not being able to see what you're looking for. I have had people mention other crocheters who have actually come up and looked at the dragon while it's in my booth, who have really appreciated the technique of how you do the wings together, just the extra detail and ridges that come with that. Those are the details about our giant dragon. Let's make sure. Crochet Dragon Plushie. It's as simple as that. That's the title of it. Even when I open the pattern in PDF, it's just dragon. Nothing fancy. Hers is black and lime green. I love her colors. Hers also includes embroidering on some toenails just to add some extra detail. I did not choose to do that. And so I like the pattern a lot. There is a lot of sewing. So you're going to create the body. You're going to sew the tail to the body. You're going to sew the spikes to the tail. You're going to sew the horns to the head to the body, and the wings to the body. Lot of sewing if you're not interested in that. So that's something to definitely keep in mind. So for now, let's roll on to the next clip, and I'll see you after the next one. Okay, so let's move on to the No So Hippo pattern by Crochet with Elena. So I follow her on TikTok. She's really funny and very relatable as a crocheter. To start out, this is her Instagram page. I'll try to flip it so it's not backwards. We are gonna follow her link tree to get to her patterns. Now her link tree, it's gonna take you to her plushie and pattern shop. It has linked all the yarn that she uses. She has a coupon code for crochet pillows. Her Instagram is linked, her YouTube, her TikTok, and her Pinterest, and all of her popular patterns that are on here, and a way to contact her. So her popular patterns are a 2-in-1 cow, Henry the hippo, 2-in-1 long kitty, mushroom cow, and donut cow pattern. So we're gonna follow her pattern store. It's gonna take us to her Etsy page. Give this a second, there we go. So very cute. To start out, she's from Illinois. That's good to know. She sells patterns, plushies, and more. Her announcement says follow us on Instagram for real-time shop updates, new products, and more. Her handle is at Crochet with Elena. So Crochet with E-L-E-N-A. She is a star seller. She has sold over 1,100 things on Etsy and is a 5-star seller. So that's awesome. That's definitely cool. She has 24 things listed on her shop. For pattern, she has a gummy bear, a large hippo, no-so bunnies, a long kitty, standing cows, the no-so hippo that I tested. I believe these are macarons. It does say that they are duck and kitty macarons, which is super cute. She does have stitch markers. She has a pattern for mushroom cows, a standing cow with a donut, more stitch markers. All right. It also says that she has 271 reviews on her store, and she is a 5-star pattern review. So we're going to hop up here to the listing for the No-So Hippo pattern. This is what the listing looks like. This is the No-So Hippo pattern. Also, No-So Crochet Amigurumi PDF pattern. Hippo crochet pattern, beginner friendly crochet hippo pattern, and easy crochet. Her pattern, I think most of her patterns at the moment are on sale for 8% off until June 2nd. This pattern is listed for $3.17. For supplies, you need a 5 or 6 millimeter hook. That depends on your personal tension and the yarn that you use. She used a size 6 chunky yarn. I used Sweet Snuggles Light, so I used a 6 millimeter hook. She used 12 millimeter safety eyes. I probably used 16 millimeter safety eyes. They're the kawaii eyes on mine. You also need a yarn needle and stuffing. Some crochet terms and abbreviations you might need are the magic ring, single crochet, triple crochet, the bobble stitch, slip stitch, increase, decrease, and chain. If you would like to share a photo of your hippo with her on Instagram or Facebook, tag at Crochet with Elena. And she says thank you and hope you enjoy the pattern. So she was very sweet to speak to. I didn't hear much. Like, I tested the pattern, I wrote it out, I sent it to her, I sent my pictures to her, and then I heard from her after the fact. So we were not in a group chat or anything. We talked in Facebook Messenger one-on-one, then she sent me an email with the pattern in it, and we went from there. So the pattern's pretty straightforward. It's super cute. It starts from the bottom and works its way up. People love the hippos. They love the shape of the hippo too. So I used 48 yards of Sweet Snuggles Light for mine. Sometimes I keep track and sometimes I don't. Just saying. It was pretty straightforward. You know, I had a couple recommendations for things like, for instance, depending on your tension and how you do decreases compared to the designer, you may need to adjust where you put your bobble stitches for your legs, your arms, your nostrils, and your ears. So these numbers may not be correct for you if you are following the pattern exactly as it's written. You may need to adjust. Most people will need to adjust. Because when people write decrease or increase in a pattern, they don't typically tell you exactly how they are doing it because they're so standard in amigurumi patterns. So that is something to keep in mind for sure. Like I said, I highly recommend. It's a cute pattern. It turns out about 9 inches tall for me. So I have it listed for $30. I have not sold any yet though. So I may need to drop the price to $25, but I will try selling them online before I do that. Either way, let's move on to the next pattern. Okay, so now we're on the next one, which is the mouse. The pattern is by Tinkering Crochet on Instagram. It is a free pattern on Instagram. So it's at TINKERING Tinkering Crochet. So this pattern, it's Mama and Baby Mouse. Free no-sew pattern. And this was a thank you because she reached 2,000 followers on her Instagram. Alright, she used for the Mama Mouse, which is the Mama Mouse is the pattern that I used. She used for two different things. For one, she used Big Twist Posh in Earl Grey with a 4.5mm hook and 12mm eyes. You can't find Posh anymore, so I guess just ignore that. She also used Parfait Chunky in the color Fog with a 4.5mm hook and 12mm eyes. So, okay. I used Sweet Snuggles Light in a 6mm hook. I loved this pattern. It went by so fast. I want to say that it took me 1 hour to make, start to finish. And I know that if I were to make a bunch of them, that would easily come down to like 45 minutes, maybe even half an hour. So it's a very straightforward pattern. It's well written on Instagram. She uses invisible decreases, but I use regular decreases. I don't know. So it's a pretty easy pattern. You go from the butt No, you don't. You go from the nose to the butt. So you'll get so far, and then you'll change to the color pink for its feet.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. I'm afraid I can't do that.
Siri, go away.
Okay.
I don't know how Siri works. I'm sorry. So you're going to switch from the gray to the pink to work on the feet. Then you're going to go back to gray. Then you're going to do some more feet later on with the pink. Then you're going to go back to the gray, and then you're going to get all the way to the butt and almost finish off, and then you're going to work the tail. And then switch back to the gray and finish it. So it's really easy, actually. And then they have the baby mouse pattern as well. I may make the baby mouse at some point, even just to do them like as a family. I think that would be super cute. But let's see if I can find her to see if she has an Etsy store. All right, so well, here's her Instagram. It's got, oh, it has a fairy in her profile picture. My kitty's meowing at the door. Her Etsy shop is linked. So here is her Etsy storefront. It says that she lives in Oklahoma. Handmade crochet plushies and patterns. She's made 15 sales and is a 5-star seller. For her patterns, she has a chubby frog pattern, which is super cute, and I know that that's a free Instagram pattern as well. So make sure that you're checking out her Instagram to see which ones are free and which ones are not. But she has a fox and wolf pattern. She has a 3-in-1 octopus family. Strawberry turtles. 3-in-1 bear. A crochet ghost with a witch's hat. So although she does have crochet patterns available in her Etsy store, the mouse pattern is not. So you can only get that on her Instagram as far as I'm aware. So totally follow her Instagram, check out her Etsy to see her other patterns. And, you know, I don't have any complaints. I loved this pattern. It was very cute. I have sold this pattern, or I've sold this mouse. I sold it for $22. And you can see based on the picture that it was a little bit bigger than my hand. So it was just a little bit bigger than 6 inches. A teenager bought it. They had to have it. Had to. So I recommend. And I think we have one more pattern left. So I'll catch you in the next clip. I just need to do some editing to some videos. I have a lot that I need to work on. But right now I'm pattern testing this really cute bee for S&H design. I did do one already. I'll insert the clip of that one being like finished. But now I'm going to record myself making a second one. So let me know what you think in the comments and follow along. And we're back. So the next one is, it's the Queen Bee, is what she is called. She is by S&H Design. This was the tester call photo. Now I found the test on TikTok. She's also S&H Design on there. She's beautiful. Beautiful. So I'm going to go ahead and find the listing. Alright, first off, I'm going to show you her Instagram. Her name is Haley. Her shop, her link is right there, listed. It looks like on here she has linked her Etsy store for plushies and patterns. The Queen Bee pattern through Etsy is linked all by itself. And she also has a baby snake and egg pattern, a chunky chomper T-Rex pattern, and a blue alien TikTok live. So we're going to go to her, just her Etsy storefront in general. So this is her Etsy storefront. Again, S&H Design. It says she lives in Idaho. She is a 5-star seller. She is a star seller. She has made 10.8 thousand sales on Etsy, which is crazy. I'm nowhere near that. Her announcement says, "Welcome to S&H Design. Please feel free to message us with any questions or custom order requests. Free shipping on all orders over $35. Very cool. She has 155 listings on Etsy. Super, super cool. So I think I'm going to narrow it down to crochet patterns first. So she has her Queen Bee, a finch, a snake, a baby snake and egg, a lightsaber, some bluey ear flap braided hats, an eagle, and a dino for her patterns. She has 1,700 reviews and has 5 stars. So that by itself is crazy too. So this is the listing for her Queen Bee. It is $4.99. It says the Queen Bee crochet pattern, bee crochet pattern, crochet bee pattern, crochet bee with flower crown. And her details include that it is written in US crochet terms, and that with her materials and tension, your bee should measure about 10 inches long and 5.5 tall. Her material list includes a number 6 weight yarn in yellow, black, light pink, and white, but also number 4 weight yarn in white and black. Those are going to be for the eye details and the eyelashes. And also for the flower crown, a number 3 weight yarn, or 4, in any color of your choice, for the vine and the flowers. So you're also going to need embroidery thread in black. I guess that's for the eyelashes. The black in the worsted weight 4 yarn is for the smile. She used a 5 or 6 millimeter hook, 18 millimeter eyes or larger. You can use safety eyes or felt eyes. You need stuffing, a yarn needle, and stitch markers. For the flower crown, you need a 3 or 4 millimeter hook, and hot glue or fabric glue, or you could probably sew it on. So that is her pattern listing. When I was working up the pattern, there were a couple things, not too many, but let's see. mostly just some grammar suggestions. There was a couple things that I would rearrange a little bit, which I'm sure she's fixed. But basically, you start with the bee's head, and then you work your way through the body. Then you do the stinger, and then you make the wings and sew them on separate. So there is a little bit of sewing. Not a whole lot, but a little bit. The antennas are crocheted in, although the legs, unless she changed them, were surface crocheted after the fact. However, if you read ahead in the pattern, you could crochet the legs into the pattern the same way that the antennas were. Not a big deal. You know, either way is fine. It's just if you crochet them in, you have to figure out where are you crocheting them in. Not a huge deal. So I actually made 2 of the bees. I did one in Sweet Snuggles Light, and I did another one in Premier Pixie Dust. So for Sweet Snuggles Light, I used a 6mm hook and I think 16mm eyes. And I also, instead of doing the flower crown in worsted weight or gluing it on or anything after the fact, I did alter it. I used Premier Retro Velvet to make it. My bad. But I also used the same yarn to make the flower crown. So I did adjust. I used her technique of what she was doing. I just crocheted it in. So I kind of surface crocheted the vine around, creating the little leaf picots that she does. And then I surface crocheted like chain loops into the head to create flowers around the vine. So there was a lot of tucking ends inside, but I just felt like that was so much more secure than gluing something on. And I didn't want to sew anything, so that's what I did. One of the bee with the flower crown sold pretty quickly. Like, I think I took it to 2 markets and it sold. So she was for sale for $25 because she was probably around 8 inches, about 7 or 8 inches long. She was very easy to make. This smaller version I did not do a flower crown on, so it's cute, but not as cute as a flower crown bee. So I have her listed for $20, and I have her in a farmhouse antique store that I stock stuff into. So that's what we're going for. That's what we're doing. Then I did give her the notes on how I did my flower crown. That's up to her if she wants to share. And that's it. I mean, I showed you the pictures and the little videos of the bees. My kids loved the look of them. They were very drawn to them. Bees are super popular. So I highly recommend this pattern. And Haley was actually great to work with as well. She was another one that it was not a tester group. I reached out. She sent me a message. The pattern was through a Canva link. So you clicked the link, it brought it up in Canva. You were supposed to be able to edit or make comments on it, but it wouldn't let me do that for some reason. So I screenshot it and put it in my tablet, and then I have a generic Apple pen where I marked it up just like I was writing on paper without having to print it. So I highly recommend. I do. And now we only have one more pattern to do. This one's very cute. Hi, I'm popping in because I'm working on another pattern test. It is a flippable dino that flips into a bush. So that's pretty neat. I've worked one up already. I'll show you later though. And I'm gonna work up another one in more frilly colors. So the first one is just more, makes me think of boy. You know, it's blue, it's green. But this one I want to do kind of on theme of a rose. So it'll be red and a dark green bush, and it'll just look very pretty. I do have a market coming up where it's a garden mart, so I have to make things that are plant themed, so that should be lots of fun. And yeah, just follow along.
Okay, so we are in a slightly different location. My husband, he came home from work. He went to bed early. So I got booted out of the bedroom. So this is the last pattern that we have to talk about. It is a flippable Dino pattern. We're gonna try to keep this relatively quick because this video is already over an hour long. So give me just a second. Okay, so we are talking about the Secretly a Dinosaur pattern. It's abbreviated SAD by Crochet by Ruth. On Instagram, her handle is @crochet by Ruth 77. I'm gonna put that down below. So I will forewarn you that this pattern is not released. She had some things come up and it may not get released for a little while, so bear with her. But we're going to take a look around and just go over the pattern itself. So this is her Instagram. And she has her Etsy shop linked right there. So we're gonna take a look. If you are trying to search for her Etsy shop, it is Crochet by Ruth shop. So it'll be @CR0 CHETBYRUTHSHOP. Sometimes you gotta get a little creative with the Etsy usernames. So it looks like she has 6 listings in her Etsy shop. She has a pattern for Tangly Todd the Toad, a flippable whale, and seal pattern. So she only has 3 patterns available in her Etsy store right now. This Secretly a Dinosaur pattern will come at some point. It is another flippable pattern to where it is a bush on the outside and then you flip it inside out and it's a dinosaur and it's very cute. I've made 2. So to talk about Ruth's Etsy shop, she's made 16 sales. She has 1 review as of March and it's a 5-star review. So we're gonna go ahead and back out of there and open up the pattern for the tester notes. We had a group chat on Instagram. There were a bunch of us in there. It was a good time, great conversation. We got it done. We were very helpful with each other. This pattern works up from the dinosaur side and then becomes the bush. You sew on the feet and the arms and the tail, and you surface crochet on the details of the bush and then weave in all your ends. You don't stuff anything in it except for the head of the dinosaur just to help it hold its shape. Realistically, there wasn't a whole lot that needed corrected in this. Just some grammar, a couple repetitive phrases. The big thing for me was that at the arms and the legs at least could have become no-sew just to make it a little bit easier. So if I were doing that, I would move the instructions for the arms and the legs earlier in the pattern to do them first. And then I included a section of how, like, the rows where it's supposed to be sewed on, I changed the row to include the instructions on how to crochet it in. Just that way it makes it easier and just a little more no-sew or at least low-sew friendly. Other than that, we had a couple issues on, forgetting stitch counts on a row, a little bit of formatting, but nothing big really. Like, all things I'm sure will be fixed. Not a big deal. Her instructions say to work the surface crochet for the bush from the middle, like from the start of the bush up to the top, but I found it easier to do it from the very end backwards. The arms had to be done differently if she were going to make them no-sew, so I included the instructions for those. And that's pretty much it. Ruth was great to communicate with. She was very receptive of recommendations, and I recommend her as a designer. I like her formatting for her pattern on Canva, and it was all very just user-friendly. So that is the last pattern that I tested in this video. Keep watch for all of the designers and their new designs coming out. Make sure to check out the listings of those that are out, and you find something new to do. Find a new pattern to crochet. I'm working on a challenge this year for myself to crochet 100 new patterns this year. We all have a habit, I'm sure, of hoarding crochet patterns and never using them. So although I have bought more patterns this year than I think I did last year or the year before, my goal is to actually work them up, even if I'm just making one item from that pattern. So I've been really working my way through. I think I haven't updated it recently, but at last count, where we are in the end of May, it's almost Memorial Day, I had over 50 patterns that I've tried this year. Some of them I've only done once, some of them it's been added to my normal market prep, so I've done them a handful of times. So check that out. At some point throughout the year, probably towards the end of the year, I will do basically a video of all of the patterns that I have tried from this year, start to finish, because a lot of them are just free Instagram patterns that they don't need a whole video like this. So it'll be a nice little snippet of the patterns that I've used, what they turned out to look like, recommend or not, would I ever do it again, so on and so forth. And it won't be as in-depth, but with 100 patterns or more in the video, I think that you guys will understand. So that being said, you guys have an amazing night. Enjoy whatever it is that you're doing tomorrow. If you wouldn't mind, give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel and leave a comment below. I appreciate all of your feedback, and any, when you guys leave comments and stuff and recommend things, it helps me improve. And I know that I have a lot of videos, but if you watch a lot of them, I have a million shorts too, but the actual videos that I have, they're all a little bit different. I'm trying to do different things. I'm trying to find what you guys like to watch, but also what my style, what I prefer to make. So I want to meet in the middle somewhere. So let me know what you want, guys, and we'll see if we can make this happen. But good night. I'll see you in the next one.
And it depends on your pricing too. I charge my prices based on size. So for every 3 inches tall, it's $10. So something up to 3 inches tall is $10. Then from 3 to 6 inches tall, it's up to $20. Then from 6 to 9 inches tall, it's up to $30, and so on and so forth. So usually those prices work out for me. I do not live in a rich area, to be completely honest. My area has major substance abuse issues. So if people can afford to spend their money on substances, I guess they can spend money on crochet. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. We don't live in a high-end area at all. And I get higher prices than a lot of people. But my biggest thing is I encourage you to raise your prices, because you don't know if you can get those prices too if you don't try. Me raising my prices for things has gotten at least a few local crocheters to me to raise their general prices as well, because if I can get the price, so can they. Yeah, cost of materials, time, it matters, and you have to think, if you're selling at markets, you can't necessarily explain how your time to set up and sell at that market is included in the price of your plushie, but that time matters too. It's not just the time to actually crochet the piece. You go to markets, you spend up to 2 hours of sweaty hard work to set up, and then you're sitting there for 6 hours or 4 to 8 hours, depending on the types of markets you like to do, and then an hour or two of sweaty teardown work, not to mention the drive to and from. I mean, sometimes it's 20 minutes, sometimes it's 2 hours. It just depends. So I definitely recommend trying to up your prices, even if it's by a couple dollars. And if they're still selling, like, and I don't mean that you won't lose a couple product sales. I don't mean that you won't lose a couple sales, because there will be somebody. Somebody will make a comment here and there. But you have to stand up for yourself. You have to be confident enough in yourself and your product for them to feel like, okay, well, she knows what she's talking about. She's the one who made it. Or he, for that matter. And they kind of lean on you. So if your general booth display looks professional and clean and, you know, a lot like a boutique or a storefront or something like that, it's going to encourage higher prices for things like stores do. It's going to encourage people not to try to haggle your prices because you can't do it in a store. And it's going to get people to just trust you as the maker a little bit better. So try it. Just give it a try. If you don't like it, you don't like it. But if you sell $5 turtles, then you are constantly remaking those turtles over and over again. But say you sell those turtles for $8 and you sell 4 of them. So 4 $8 turtles is $32, right? But 5 $5 turtles is $25. So even though you sold one less item, you're still profiting more money in the long run. So that's something that I think about too. It's just, we're all worth so much more than we give ourselves credit for and other people give us credit for. And all we can do is try to demand that people respect us as we do them. So let's just breathe from the tangent. I might even cut this off and move it to the end. So, not everybody's with that, and I understand. And if you have an opinion on that, feel free to put it in the comments. You know, I want to hear what you have to say. I want to hear whether you can see my reasoning or if you have a different viewpoint. You know, as long as you're respectful with your comment and your opinion, I'm happy to hear it, whether it is in line with mine or different. If you're going to come in here and be hateful and mean, bye. Go somewhere else. But if you are, you know, genuinely just offering to the conversation, I'm down for it. I'm here with it. And I'm happy to discuss. So my decrease is basically a single crochet 2 together. You know, I don't worry about any front loop, back loop, none of that nonsense. I don't do any kind of slip stitch, nothing. It's literally just drop a loop, insert your hook in the next stitch, drop a loop, wrap your yarn, and pull through all 3 loops that are on your hook. I don't typically have an issue with that, and it's a lot easier to hide any kind of gapping in your stitches with the thicker, plushier yarn. I know that some people do not have a much worse time than I do. My advice for that is to make sure that your tension on decrease stitches specifically are pretty tight, like twice as tight as any other stitch. Just that way it hides any kind of gapping. But invisible decreases are what most people use. The problem is that it varies on how to do it.